Minnie, as I mentioned, I was stunned just this week that woman in Louisiana who's facing felony charges for providing her daughter abortion medication that she got from a doctor in New York. I mean, she had to plead not guilty, but there's an extradition order from the governor of Louisiana sent to Kathy Hochul in New York saying, bring me the doctor, too. I mean, is this just the start of what's to come under this administration?
Yeah, and this really started before this administration, right? But we had the Biden-Harris administration protecting these folks, and we've now seen, as you pointed out, the Trump administration withdrawing from the Idaho case, asking to intervene in a case against Planned Parenthood in South Carolina. I will just say again, thank God for Democratic governors like Kathy Hochul, who is pledged to do everything she can to protect Dr. Maggie Carpenter, who's frankly a hero in providing this care across states. We're seeing Democratic governors make sure they're passing shield laws, they're passing protections, they're stockpiling medication abortion. And this has been happening since Dobbs, but we had a federal government that was protecting us, and now we simply do not. So we can absolutely expect attacks to ratchet up when you have these red state governors and AGs who know they have a bunch of extremists in the administration at the DOJ, at HHS, at FDA, potentially CMS, who are going to do everything they can to be complicit in really restricting our abortion rights. And this flies in the face of what Trump campaigned on, which was no additional restrictions at the federal level, which we were obviously, pointing out was inaccurate and a lie. But a lot of Americans fell for that. So we have a job to do now, Katie, and it's to make sure everyone in this country knows what they're doing sneakily through rescinding executive actions and Biden era, policies is brought to light so folks understand what they're really doing.
Let's call out another Trump lie. I don't know anything about Project 2025. One of the key things of Project 2025 was eliminating a woman's ability to obtain an emergency abortion. Of course, now the Trump administration DOJ dropping a critical lawsuit that was brought to go against Idaho's abortion ban that the Supreme Court said in a narrow ruling, yes, the hospitals can provide an emergency abortion in that particular situation. I mean, so the fact that they've now dropped this suit, what does that mean, Minnie?
This is another way. This is exactly what I was talking about when I say the Trump administration is going to do everything they can in a sneaky way, through executive action, through passive action, like pulling out of a case that the Biden administration was enforcing. EMTALA, the emergency abortion law, was passed by Congress, and the administration's job is to enforce it. The Biden administration enforced it as a way to protect women in red states who were in medical emergencies. And we've heard so many of those stories, and you've interviewed so many of those women who've had near-death experiences because they didn't have life-saving abortion care. So what this means is we don't have an administration willing to enforce federal law that was passed by Congress to protect women. And they are saying they'd rather prevent abortion and let women die than enforce the law. This is the kind of action that we, organizations like ours, and people like you and the press need to be screaming about, because this is the kind of stuff that can go under the radar and make Americans think that Trump isn't attacking abortion rights when he's doing everything he can through administrative action to create a backdoor abortion ban.
Yeah, and I want to highlight, omission is just as strong as action, right? So taking away that fight in Idaho is just as important as actually not doing anything at all. I also wanted to ask you about this, Minnie. Trump's picked to run the FDA, this guy named Dr. Marty Makary, right? So he hedged on answering about what the FDA is going to do about access to mifepristone. And this is so important, right? Because there was that huge battle that went all the way to the Supreme Court of the United States to make sure that there could be access to mifepristone for women through the mail. But with Makary kind of saying, it signifies and it signals to me that they're going to try to end run SCOTUS this way.
Well, Makary actually said he was willing to review again whether mifepristone could be provided through providers without in-person visits. And what that's getting at is telemedicine and how patients have been able to access this care despite being stuck in states without that access. So look, Marty Makary is a well-known anti-abortion extremist. He's aligned with some of the most dangerous elements in this country, and he's an unacceptable nominee for FDA. And it is chilling that we're seeing these extremists being placed in these critical roles throughout the administration. And it goes right back to what you said. Banning mifepristone in a backdoor way was absolutely a goal of Project 2025, and we are watching it happen in real time.
Mini Timmiraju, you shine the light. You are so strong about making sure that our rights are protected. I thank you for your voice, and thank you for holding power to account. We have to do it.